New developments tonight in the case of WNBA star Brittney Griner that will lead to many more questions about just how far the United States should go to try to bring her home. Secretary of State Antony Blinken confirming reports that the Biden administration has offered to exchange Griner for a Russian national currently serving a 25-year U.S. prison sentence for, among other things, conspiring to kill Americans. This is part of a deal to secure the release of Griner as well as American Paul Whelan from Russian prisons. Look, everyone, of course, wants to see Americans unfairly imprisoned abroad brought home. But the very serious question remains, what is the U.S. giving up? What is the long-term impact on American security? And I know it's not popular to ask this, but we have to. Is the deal worth it? According to CNN, a senior administration official said, quote, "We communicated a substantial offer that we believe could be successful based on a history of conversations with the Russians. We communicated that a number of weeks ago in June." This comes as the White House faces increased criticism that they weren't doing enough to bring Griner and Whelan home. And news of the offer comes on the very day when Griner appeared in a Russian court where she held up photos of loved ones from behind bars. Griner spoke for the first time today in a Russian court, and though cameras were not rolling, we were able to capture audio of her statement.
Nothing was ever explained to me thoroughly at all. Like I said, it was a lot of short words, sign here, and at that point it felt like I was being held against my will, so that's why I contacted my family and my agent and asked for legal representation.
Now let me be clear. Any swap deal is encouraging news. The U.S. is offering to give up a former Soviet military officer named Viktor Bout, an imprisoned Russian arms dealer who's been nicknamed the Merchant of Death. Bout is currently serving a 25-year sentence in an Illinois prison for conspiring to kill U.S. nationals and selling weapons to the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. But Bout's criminal history of arms dealing goes way beyond that. He's simply just a bad guy. In fact, former Attorney General Eric Holder once called him, quote, "one of the world's most prolific arms dealers." Now, there is a very good reason why the U.S. government tries to avoid these sorts of prisoner swaps, because they incentivize countries to detain Americans so they can be used as bargaining chips. So should the U.S. even be offering the deal? Why is it being made public now? And will the Russians accept it? Joining me now is a former special envoy for hostage affairs under the Trump administration, Hugh Dugan. Thanks for coming back on the show. Appreciate it. All right, so let me ask you this. If you were advising the administration, would you advise them to offer this deal?
I wouldn't do it publicly. I was a bit surprised today when the Secretary of State actually mentioned that they'd made a substantial offer. They didn't specify what it was, and that was a good thing they didn't specify. But what concerned me is that they said they made it several weeks ago in June, and which tells me that Russia is probably taking its time and maybe dragging its feet to its own advantage.
Now, my understanding is that, with the Russians, they want to get a formal verdict and sentence, right? I mean, she's been found guilty, but they want to sentence her. And at that point, they may be able to make the deal. But that just seems to me like a technical point that really can't be the thing that's holding this all up.
No. Well, I've studied these cases over the last 30 years, and it turns out that the initial reasons for detaining someone is seldom an issue in their final release. So the fact that this is a merchant of death and that she's a basketball star with some small amount of substance factors out quite quickly, because in the end, each side is willing to pay what it's worth to them to do that.
So maybe it is unfair then when I'm looking at it that way, right? Because I'm looking at like the lawyer, right? I'm not looking, you're looking at it in the way that the government must, right? Which is practicalities. I look at it as a lawyer and I see a case where you're talking about releasing a guy who is serving a 25-year sentence in exchange for, two minor offenses. But what you're saying to me is that's not the way you should look at it.
Well, historically, it hasn't factored in. When it comes to the final release, each party is a commodity of sorts. It's sad to say that. They're both playing a game of chess.
Yeah.
And the fact that one side is using wooden pieces and the other side is using solid gold pieces seems important to us, but in fact, the dynamics of the game are not changed at all.
Do you think the Russians are going to accept this offer?
I think they're going to be taking their time. They are in no rush to resolve this. It buys them some publicity. It buys them leverage. It makes us look very busy and anxious, and that they matter more than they should over there. So we'll see what the motives are. There are many moving pieces in these types of arrangements, and we don't know the half of it, I'm sure.
Why was this made public?
I'd like to know as well. I think the problem with hostage release and negotiation is that you want to be very busy on behalf of that party, and you also want to look busy if you're in the political realm. So this might be a bit of looking busy for the public's consumption right now, and there's not too much else good news coming out of the White House.
Yeah, AKA, sounds like what you're saying is that there could be a political element to it.
The Trevor Reed came out of Russia in April, and that bought the White House quite a lot of accolades, and that good for a change. And
well, but this could be a disaster if they announce what they're offering and the Russians don't accept it. I think they're in a worse position than if it hadn't come out at all. But anyway, I got to wrap this.
I agree.
Hugh, the reason we have you on the show is because you understand this stuff way better than I do. Hugh Dugan, thank you so much. Appreciate it. That does it for. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.